Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself to you. My name is Raden Muhammad Rizaldi. In this lesson, exactly English specific purpose, I took in B class, and the teacher is Mrs. Ati. And now, in this lesson, in this task that I would like to present the journal that I have been taught by Miss Ati to do the task. So let me explain about what I got. So the title, the journal that I got before is English Proficiency and Their Computer Programming Mastery. And it had been made by Zuasana Pudestuti SS and Joshua F. Palandi MCom. So we are going to the next slide. In the first, there is an introduction in the table of contents, and we are going to the first slide. In introduction, talking about the journal, inside the journal. So in the world of programming, there are many languages that can be used based on Shelley and Feynman. Define programming languages as words, abbreviations, and symbols that allow programmers to communicate or instruct the computer. And a programmer can use different programming languages to write, or so-called coding. Yeah, the communication when the programmer wants to construct the computer, it usually called coding. And then for informatics engineering students, computer programming languages are the only tools to communicate with the computers. By using computer programming languages, they can give instruction to machine. Although many computer application software uses Indonesian for the convenience of computer users. No computer language is designed based on Indonesian. Instead, most of them are designed based on English. However, aspect of the programming language based on this condition. Students' English skills are needed by informatics engineering students to be able to use computer programming languages. Lack of English language skill is the biggest problem that will prevent students from using programming language. So in this introduction, that English is needed for the programming because, computers are made based on English language. So the next slide, we talk about literature review. So by Nalaya, state that English proficiency is used in most contexts as a benchmark for assessing the inclusion or exclusion of students with regard to politics, trade, economy, society, and education. That's all the function about language. And English proficiency is one of the requirements before students complete their studies or continue to the next level of education. In this situation, English proficiency is considered important in the Indonesian academic context. Learning English for specific purpose or ESP that I taking now, or English for academic purpose, must be authentic by considering that the learner's field of study. The statement by Lightbone and Spada found that a learner will have a higher motivation in learning a second language when the proficiency test measures speaking performance. Meanwhile, a learner may have less motivation when proficiency tests measure other aspects of language. So that was the literature review, and the next slide is the methodology from the journal. So the correlational design was used in this study to increase the degree of association between the students' English proficiency and their mastery of computer programming. The researcher used the score of the test of English as a foreign language, or we usually call TOEFL, as a measure for students' English proficiency and students of two computer programming courses, namely Basic Programming 1 and Visual Programming 1, to measure students' computer programming mastery. The number of participants in this journal, there are 99 students, which are divided into 18 students from 4 classes of Basic Programming 1 course and 19 students of Visual Programming 1 course. Students are then classified according to their TOEFL level to determine the number of students in a certain level of English proficiency. Furthermore, students scored from the classification course were classified according to their final scores before the two courses were suitable for analysis. So that was the methodology, and the next, so finding and the discussion. Since there's no standardization in classifying the student, English proficiency based on certain level, that the TOEFL acquired fluency table of Vancouver English Center is used in this study as a reference. Then it is developed and it is developed to meet the conditions of the participant. Both of the tables are presented as a follow. Like you can see, there are 4 tables here. So from the table 2, we can see the TOEIC, TOEFL paper, TOEFL, CBT, IBT, IELTS, VS online score, and the classes like a big beginner, middle beginner, upper beginner, low intermediate, until upper advanced. So there are many courses in the table 2, and the next table 3, the modified from TOEFL, CBT, and EBT. And there are 3 classification: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You can see, right? And the next, from table 4, there are 80 participants, and Basic Programming 1, and the grade, there are A, B plus, B, C plus, C, and D. For the beginner, you can see the presentation, and then the advanced, and the next, from table 5, it is score of visual programming. There are 19% that the participants, and this is visual programming for day 3. Okay. And that's all from the findings and the discussion that I put the table. So the next is about the conclusion from the journal. So the conclusion that I had wrote before, that I got from the journal. Conclusion: the English language is badly needed to improve the students' ability in using computer programming languages. For non-native English students, the students will find it easier to compare the knowledge of programming language using the computer programming vocabulary, syntax, and symbols, or finding the errors of their programming. The result of this study has provided some suggestion for improving the teaching of English and computer programming language courses for the university students, because there is no standardization of English language proficiency for informatics engineering and informatic management students. It is suggested to make the standardization by making specific English language proficiency. Says intended for them, the English language should be considered to be used as the language instruction in the computer programming classrooms. So that's all from me. I hope that can be useful for all the people. Thank you very much. My name is Raden Muhammad Rizaldi. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.